Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today I'm on location here at Pondview Park. It's a small little community park centered around Kettering, Ohio, but it's a very beautiful place. It's got a myriad of different habitats just packed in this really small community park, like I said. It has lots of paved and gravel kind of trails. There's three main trails, as I can tell from the map over here, trail markers. There's the Prairie, Pond, and Woodland Trail. So it looks like the Woodland one is right beside me over here. There's actually a little pond over here that houses some resident species like just mallard ducks, and maybe just a few other maybe like Canada geese at times too. And there's a nice little island actually out there formed in the middle of it, and then people can fish at it, of course. And then, as you can tell, the highway is situated all the way behind the park, at least for where I am at over here by the parking lot over here. And it looks like over there is the meadow. There's some small little woodland. There's an Osage orange trail, small little trail there with those very beautiful ornamental trees, which is going to be really cool to see and share with you here. And I saw a mallard fly away. And so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this visit. I'm kind of just thinking with macro in mind might be the best idea for today, at least for this visit, because a lot of the spring ephemeral flowers do tend to bloom here. It's starting to get really into the spring wildflower season, course, but this is a really cold and frosty morning, so I'm hoping maybe that frost will kind of be a cool nice way to just kind of accentuate those flowers, something a little bit different, showing like winter and then spring in the transition there, as it's still really cold and frosty, especially in the mornings here. So yeah, that's my goal right now, but like I said, right now I'm just checking out this trail map and just kind of planning out what I want to do for the day. The lighting is going to be very limited at times, at least as it gets later on in the morning here, just because it's already a bright sunny day. But right now it's still pretty beautiful golden hour light, and it hasn't quite hit the rest of the park and the woodland over here. So I should be able to make it work, at least for the next couple hours. But by high noon it's going to be very, very just, we're going to be overwrought really with just bright sunny conditions, which obviously is not really the most favorable, I would say. So yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Yeah, looking forward to this and sharing this location with you. It's going to be a good visit. This is actually my second visit. So went one time about a year ago, just to pre-scout. It was pretty nice visit. It gets a little busy at times, but so far for the morning here, no one's here. So besides me, of course, and all the birds. So yeah, I think with that being said, let's go ahead and get started and hit the trail, and hopefully we can see maybe some spring ephemeral flowers. Alright, so my first subject of the day is Bloodroot, which is a spring ephemeral flower. I've gotten beautiful macro photographs of it just fully laid out and fully bloomed. But these in particular, it's just a little bit too early, and so they are still kind of just, I guess, bunched up, if you will, not fully bloomed. But it creates this nice, beautiful kind of white, just kind of teardrop oval shaped design, I guess. And I found this one behind this tree over here. So as the sun's getting really, really bright now, it's just casting all those sunbeams and light over, as you can see from my side here. But I found this one behind this tree, so I have ample time to just kind of slow down and really think about my composition, especially with doing macro photography like this. And so I'm composing it since it's a more vertically driven stem of it, and just the more vertically driven flower head of it, as it's not fully bloomed yet. So I'm going with a more vertical composition, and I'm doing an experiment in different settings. It's been so long, all these months, I guess, of not really doing any macro photography, and now I'm just getting back into it. And so I'm kind of have to relearn how my style is, and what the way to do, I guess, proper photograph of them. So I'm about 1/5 of a second, f8, and ISO 400. I'm on a 2-second timer, and of course I'm on a tripod, just because it's pretty front loaded, the front end of the camera here. So I got the extension tube right here, and then I got my telephoto lens here, 75-300, and I believe I'm zoomed all the way out at 135 millimeters, which, you know, with the macro makes that perspective of the 1-to-1 magnification, and that allows me to get in much closer, obviously, with the telephoto lens like that, because normally at this focusing range and this distance I wouldn't really be able to get it in focus if I was using just the telephoto lens. But of course, the extension tube, the attachment in between the camera and the lens, allows you to get in much closer. So yeah, it's turned out pretty nice. The shots are, you know, nothing to really write home about. They're not like the best thing in the world, at least personally for me, but they're a nice documentation shot that kind of just shows, it's kind of like an image I would see in like a field guide almost, or some kind of like flower, I guess, study, you know, book or whatever. Just simply because it's showing it at a different stage than it normally would be shown at when, like I said, when fully bloomed. So yeah, these shots are kind of neat, but you know, it's nothing too crazy, but you know, it's pretty nice, and I'm glad I got them as kind of like, I guess we'll call them additional detail shots, you know, compared to the much more fully bloomed flower shots that I've gotten previously. So yeah, I'm really liking them so far. I'm just really taking my time. Like I said, I'm still the only one here, but I'm right along the main trail here. So I'm just have everything, I'm crouched over right here. It just looks kind of awkward, but you know, I'm just taking my time with it, and yeah, I'm really enjoying so far the morning out here. I've already seen some hepaticas, which are more of a purple kind of flower, and those are one of the first ones to bloom as well here for spring. But so far I haven't seen them really close to the trail like I am with these bloodroot. So maybe I'll hopefully see some right here at the trail side. That way I don't have to go, of course, off trail or just far out like that. But yeah, there's ample woodland here, and so I'm thinking with the woodland floor here, since all the leaves are bare, so it allows all that sunlight to allow these flowers to grow, that, you know, there will be ample amounts of them here at Pondview. So, but like I said, I'm about less than a mile, of course, into the trail here. I'm already getting a few photographs and subjects worthy of taking the camera out and really messing around and experimenting with, which is great. So yeah, I'll leave it at that, and I'll probably take a handful more shots, and I'll keep along here. But the way I'm going right now, since I am on the woodland trail, is that it looks like I'm going towards the meadow kind of area, and the Osage orange small little trail line. And then yeah, we'll make our way around, go pretty much wrapped around the perimeter is what my goal is, to go in the outer perimeter and just kind of wind through all these smaller trails, kind of like a spiral almost, which I've done previously at other locations, both big and small. So I think one of the most exciting things for me with just getting out in the field and photography in general is just the evolution of the photograph. And what I mean by that is, like in this case where I'm hunkering down and I'm really just focusing quite literally on this one subject, this bloodroot, is that I'm just finding the evolution of it to get, I guess we'll say, the drive to get a better photograph. It becomes really apparent the longer you just kind of sit there and just take some thought to how to compose the photograph, how to properly take it, you know, make it well exposed, you know, dial in your camera settings, and just everything to make the best photograph possible. So it's pretty neat to see that. In this case, this is basically a perfect example, is that I had the tripod legs. They're pretty low down with my Gitzo systematic tripod here. It's a 4-section tripod without a center column. And so since it doesn't have a center column on it, that means I can really just spread the legs down real low and get some ground level shots, which are perfect for wildflower shots, such as this. And so I started out at a kind of like angled that wasn't fully exposed down to the ground level, but just to try out the shots there, and they turn out pretty well, especially at f8, which is a pretty wide aperture for the most part. And so yeah, they turn out all right. But then I, you know, just spread the legs down even further and got down to where the center column, where it would be, and the platform, the base of the tripod, was just all the way touching the ground in the gravel path I'm on here. And those shots turn out to be quite simply the best ones, just because it did have that kind of eye level perspective that, you know, most casual photographers probably wouldn't even, you know, try out. They'd just be standing over top of the flower and get something like that, or a top-down shot. But like in this case, for this flower, since it isn't fully bloomed, like I said earlier, and it's more vertically driven composition, just if you want to align obviously naturally like the subject is in this case, And then so yeah, to get the eye level perspective, and that really drops all the background out of focus and just makes this beautiful kind of pastoral colors and some nice really big bokeh, especially with the golden hour morning light here, just kind of splotched all behind the flower here, which yeah, it just looked at really well and made a nice clean simple background, where all the subject matter, all the focus is rather on the subject itself, and there's no extraneous, you know, just details and distractions and anything else that would get in the way of the shot here. So but yeah, that's something that you can just kind of work up to, and it's pretty neat to see that. And that goes for anything. It's not just flowers here, but even birds. Like if there's a bird perched on a tree and you're really still and quiet, you know, you can just simply keep stepping forward, zoom in a little bit more, and just keep slowly getting there. And some of your best shots will be by the end, hopefully, of that session or that moment, simply because you took the time to be patient and really work with the subject there. So yeah, it really just goes with any subject matter. It doesn't have to be nature, outdoor. It could be anything really. So just cool to see that when you really, you know, take the time and motivate yourself to work through the subject and see really what kind of photographs you can come up with. So yeah, so I took a handful of shots here, like I said, and that should be enough for this particular moment here. And so I'm going to continue along the rest of the trail and see what the rest of Pondview has to bring here. Alright everyone, that's going to conclude today's video. I feel like I cut it a little short just because there's simply a lot of just people just walking around this small community park. I think something I learned today, it seems like everyone on this planet seems to own a dog, but anyways, they all seem to be from this neighborhood, so they must be regulars to this park, I guess, just simply because there's no other cars here in the parking lot besides me, because I guess I'm a little bit of an outsider since I had to drive here. But anyways, today also seemed to be like the day of vertical compositions and shots, since everything I shot was vertical for some reason, and macro. But yeah, it was a good morning out, just doing some nice macro photography. Like I said, I spent a considerable amount of time explaining to you the process I went through to get the Bloodroot flowers, and those are great shots, I think. And other than that, I went around the meadow kind of area, and then the Osage Orange, the really small little trail straight away. That was very beautiful, and that might be a potential maybe landscape shot here in the future, at a future visit, we'll see. And so other than that, then I made my way along the other half of the perimeter kind of trail there, and I did see this really frost encrusted leaf. It's really beautiful. So I extended the tripod legs up pretty high, just towering over top of this small leaf, and I did a top-down perspective, and I did about 25th of a second, f7.1, ISO 400, and just did a handful of shots like that. It was already getting to be some really harsh kind of sunlight, and it was creating, you know, these highlights because all of these bright little speckles of frost, of course, was just all over this leaf, and it was just, yeah, making it a little bit tough to really get the shot so that everything was not little bits of, I guess, blown out highlights essentially. But yeah, I feel like it turned out pretty well. Did those in a vertical perspective. Tried various exposure settings just to kind of zoom in and out. I did about 30th of a second. I think I went down, or I stopped up to f8, I believe, and did a few more like that. Yes, as I'm looking at them right now. Yeah, just some zooming in and out just to kind of remove that background and any distractions that may potentially be in the composition, because it's important to really check your borders, check your surrounding area of the subject in the frame, especially like in my case when I'm on a tripod mounted. I like to switch to live view just that way I can look at it and as such. All right, and then other than that, I got a few more of some other spring ephemeral flowers. I believe these are Cutleaf Toothwort, but I'll throw a few shots into this video, of course, because they turn out pretty well, I think. Even with the sunlight, still just got them nice, well exposed. You can kind of tell there's some harsh shadows though, of course, just because the sunlight is getting higher in the sky. But yeah, those turn out pretty well overall. And so yeah, those are really the three kind of main subjects. So leaf and two ephemeral flowers were what I got for today. Just a couple out here at this nice little park here. But yeah, it was quite much worth it, I think. So it's a nice beautiful day out, and I'm looking forward to the rest of spring here. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. This has been Pondview Park. Until next time, make sure to get out here. Thank you.